All right, welcome back. I know it's been a while since I made another video. A long time actually, but been busy, so I thought I'd make one right now at least. I don't know when the next one will be up, but I just recently, here I'll turn these around so you can see the titles. I just recently acquired all my old Dr. Seuss books that have just been sitting in storage. So I figured we could just go through and see which ones that I have. If a lot of people still have Dr. Seuss books, I mean, let me know what ones you have. I know I don't have every single one, but I definitely have a lot. So let's get started. I figured this would be a pretty good one to start off with since it's almost Christmas. I've already celebrated my Christmas, but we celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas all in one go. So I don't know if anybody else does that, but I guess my family's weird and we do that. We have the past few years, but all the art in here, just looking back on it, is just so like nostalgic, and like it, not every page has so much color. Like this book is mostly in like black and whites and obviously red, but that's kind of all you really need. Like just the artwork, and I mean obviously the story is great. Everybody loves this story, everybody that I know. I mean, how can you not? And especially the original versions. I mean, the movies are great, but the books are just such a classic. So I love all the reds in there, and you know, I like that it doesn't have a whole lot of color other than black and white and just the red. I think that works. This one I've been reading before bed, so I have a little bookmark here, a little Dr. Seuss bookmark from when I used to work at Barnes & Noble a few years ago. And, you know, you gotta read this one before you go to bed. I mean, it even says, this book is to be read in bed. So I'm not gonna just not listen to Dr. Seuss himself, you know. But I love all the yellows that he used. I feel like yellow is more of like a staple color for all of his creatures and everything. And even the like people that he draws, they're kind of yellowish. And here's another black and white and red type deal. I remember reading all these books when I was younger, and I would be so excited to get to the next one. Of course, my bookmark falls out. I'm almost done with it, but obviously I got tired and went to sleep, so. But I remember just my dad would get me new books every time I would go over to his house, and I would love reading them. Good night. It's just perfect to, read before bed. I mean, depending on how fast of a reader you are, this is like pretty much perfect amount of time to like kind of get cozy and snugly in bed, and then you have a little story to read. This is the Cat in the Hat. I mean, everybody knows the Cat in the Hat. So it's just an iconic staple. And all these books I'm just going to be kind of flipping through because I don't want it to take forever in just one video, but and I have a lot of books to get through. So we'll see how many I can get through. Maybe I'll make a part 2. But I did intend on maybe having like a little story time, and if there's any specific ones that you want me to read, I could just have like a little like, maybe not like ASMR necessarily, but just a little story time, just reading all of them. And they're usually not too long. And I mean, I have shorter ones too, shorter stories. Some of them that I have multiple stories in them, so multiple short stories. So I could just maybe read one of those or anything like that. But just the imagination on like all these stories, like it just really gave me inspiration as a child. So I mean, how can you not have fun with this? A giant cat comes to visit you and destroys your house. I mean, that sounds like the most fun you could ever have. And this is Green Eggs and Ham, but this is like a pop-up version, or like with like flaps. So I think I have the original version too, or so I thought, but I don't know why. I don't think they did this with all the books. So I don't know if this was like a younger age range version, but like usually when you see little pop-ups, they're for like little kids. There he is. He's happy. He loves green eggs and ham. Spoiler alert, but I think everybody knows that. But yeah, don't know why this is the only flap book that I have. Don't know if it's like a special copy or like a little kid's version of the book. But it's still the same story. It just, it just has less pages because of the pop-ups or the flippies. And I don't know if anybody has seen these, but they're like, they had like versions where you can like obviously like personalize this book, and me being a little tiny child writing in this and probably drawing horribly, but like they ask you little questions like, where do you live and stuff, and my old address, which I probably shouldn't put on there because I don't want anybody to harass people that live where I used to. But yeah, they ask you like all these questions, and for some reason I wrote that I'm right-handed even though I've always been left-handed, so I must have just been lying to myself, I guess. But these were really fun. Like, I don't know, they're just so inclusive, and like you still have these like cute little like characters that like you feel like you can relate to because you're putting your own information in the book, I suppose. But I don't know, I never put my picture on the front, which I suppose you're supposed to do, but for some reason I didn't. But I liked those. I always liked filling out my own stuff. And I mean, it's just like your own personalized book, basically. Same with these. I didn't write in this, but I think you're basically supposed to. It has a bunch of quizzes inside. So, let's see. Like, there's a bunch of like riddles and they don't have like the answers right away, but they have all these different pictures, and obviously the cat is there just walking around asking all these questions. This is probably where they came up with the idea of that like newer show, or I suppose it's been out for a while, but the show that they have, The Cat in the Hat, knows a lot about that. Pretty sure that's what it's called. But I mean, the cat just wants to ask you all these questions, so yeah, see if you know them, see if you don't know them. I probably didn't know a lot of them being a young child, but I would probably try and guess. And here in the back they have all the answers. So don't look at them if you don't want to know the answers, but they're there if you want to see them. But that's why I didn't write in this book, because I just could look at the answers. I didn't need to write my own. I could just guess, or I could ask other people what their answers would be, and we would all do that together, and that would be fun instead of writing in it. I wanted to keep all these books neat. Obviously you can tell they're in pretty good shape. I mean, they've just been sitting in boxes, so I mean, they're basically still brand new, even though I read them a crap ton as a kid. But I still took care of all my books because I didn't want them to get all crappy and worn out, especially the Dr. Seuss. The Dr. Seuss are my favorite, so I wanted them to last forever, and so I think they probably will. But this one is On Beyond Zebra. And even like these books where probably not a lot of people read these, the lesser known ones, they were still really good. I mean, they're all just so witty, and just how he tells the stories, and yeah, these like crazy characters. I mean, it's an animal, but whatever, same difference. But like, you just go into a different world, you know? And I like that. Reading is supposed to kind of take you away into a different world, and you're supposed to, you know, use your imagination, have fun, and just read a freaking story. Or you can come up with your own stories. That's fun too. It's fun to use your imagination. But here, more reds. That like all this shading here. But yeah, and those bright colors, like, it just works. Happy birthday to you. I don't really remember, but I probably got this on my birthday. And I think, well, this one, I thought it was like maybe where you could write your own stuff in there, but I guess not. I think it's just like in the beginning here, they kind of like leave it blank, so you can probably write your own message to whoever you're giving this to. But like these pictures in this book, like, they just seem like they're different in a way. I don't really know how to explain, but like they seem like they've been like photocopied, or like, I don't know, were like drawn in something different, or maybe painted in something different than what he normally did. It kind of looks like, yeah, like more watercolory, or like with markers. Some of it looks like markers. I don't know if anybody else can tell, but if you have this book too, it's like, it's kind of more easier to see in real life. I mean, obviously they still look like Dr. Seuss because he did them, but I don't know, just like the pictures, just, yeah, it just looks like a different medium. See, oh, it's kind of markerish, or kind of, yeah, because I feel like before he would just usually do like pens and sketches, and yeah. It depends, I guess. Next one. If I ran the zoo. I mean, I feel like everybody knows this one. And this one, I think, yeah, I feel like everybody knows this. If I could turn the page. Kid here. Well, he wants us to run the zoo. And come up with these crazy ideas of setting them loose. But that would be fun. Just having a bunch of giraffes and, well, obviously they probably don't have giraffes in this world, but just a bunch of crazier creatures than giraffes. And they're all just walking around, running around, jumping around, climbing stuff. People are taking them. Who knows what they're doing? Causing a lot of trouble. But in the end, he's just a kid. He doesn't have his own zoo. And that guy probably was just like a security guard. He probably didn't own the zoo either. He probably just saw him and just assumed that he owned it. This is another one. If I ran, but instead if I ran the circus. Let's see here. Get to the first page. This kid's just walking down the street. He sees this huge circus. And of course, you gotta go crazy if you ran the circus. I mean, if you're not crazy and running a circus, then your circus probably isn't that good. Even though circus people, whoever run the circus, whatever they're called, circus runners. But if they're like beating their animals and mistreating them, obviously that's not good. But this circus, this seems like a nice circus if this kid was running it. And I mean, even in this world, I'm sure they don't harm their animals. But who knows? I just like how it's sketched, and then yeah, just the bold colors. I'm a fan. I like that. It kind of inspired me how I like do my art nowadays. I just like to have that one little like pop of color, because sometimes that's all you really need. Scrambled eggs, super. I mean, I love scrambled eggs. I like my eggs sun side up and over easy. I like them lots of different ways, actually. And now, egg meme, so still pretty relevant. And I'm sure you could probably make some memes out of this book too. Yeah, those colors, the reds and blues, and then the bright yellow, that's just signature. And then even like using all the white space on the pages and stuff, like you don't need to have all the whole colors there to make it a good page or a good couple pages. And then you have this where everything is like half and half like colors, and that looks great too. So it's just like, see, and then the white space and then the bright colors, and even this isn't like all completely drawn in. Like I feel like you don't really need that. See, he makes a statement, you know. It just looks so nice. So, even a book about scrambled eggs. All right, we're about halfway through. I might pause and do like a part 2, but I'm at least gonna do this one. This is like a multiple story one, and I have another, yeah, there's another multiple story one, but we'll get to that, and these are in the way now that they're piling up. But this is Yertle the turtle and other stories. But I remember when I was young, I thought turtles were really cool, and turtles still are really cool. But Yertle the turtle, like, what a great name. I mean, what is there not to like? There's just some turtles swimming. I love that. And who actually has a name of Yertle? Like, that's not a real name. But it's a great name for a turtle. He's just so grumpy. I just love they just stacked up on each other. I just love the colors and the green water. Like, you can just imagine like turtles love being in like mossy and like seaweedy water, so I feel like it's, you know, it's always green. And they're always like peeking their little heads out of there. But there, what is he saying? Burp. He's burping. I mean, we all do it, right? Now this guy has a cute little tail. See, and I love how like the color schemes are like mostly like the same like throughout the whole book. Throughout like each book kind of has their own like color scheme. Oh yeah, and this is other tales. So yeah. Oh, so that was. I gotta find the beginning of this last story that I just like skipped over. Okay, so that was Gertrude McFuzz, about the fuzzy-tailed guy there, or lady, or whatever they go as. And this is the big brag, and this is like the typical story of like, you know, the rabbit and the bear. And they, you know, they both brag into each other, and then he's got to flap his ears around. He's like, oh, I bet I can do this better than you. You know, and he's like, oh, I bet I can do this better than you. You know, they're bragging. And is there another story in this one? I think so. Then they find a little worm guy. And he's just like, oh yeah, like, bet I'm better than you. Oh, and then that's the end of that one. I thought there was one more story, but that one was longer than I thought it was. So, yes, multiple stories. We love that in a single book. I mean, it's like stealing books. It's like getting a better deal. Okay, so I think we're gonna stop there, and that was all these, and that's about half of them, and this is the second half that we will have to go through in the next time. And I still have so many other books to review. I can do story time. I have so many different ideas. If anybody's into books, I have a whole shelf of them right next to me. Well, I have multiple shelves right next to me. But I have so many books. These are just the ones that I finally got back after not seeing them for forever. So next time we'll go through the rest of those. And yeah, let me know if you want to have story time or anything else. Okay?